I thought to myself, Arsenal look all right, you know.
I think they're the favourites now.
Why didn't you just sign a central midfield player to play there and let Bruno do his thing with Cunha?
Those moments are massive in a season.
Now you're at Liverpool, you have to perform and you have to score.
The talking point of the season was the way Pep went in that game, totally defensive.
Welcome to the breakdown. So with the Premier League on hold because of the internationals, we thought it was the perfect time to take a look at the season so far. Some of the big talking points, teams who are doing well, teams who are doing not so well, in the company of Owen Hargreaves, Joe Hart, Ali McCoist and Joe Cole. Coley, did you like international breaks? Was it good when you could get away from the club and go and play international football?
What, when I was playing or as a pundit?
Oh, I know you love it now because you get a holiday, but when you were playing?
Well, says the man who looks like he's had a good few weeks in Dubai. I love playing for England. I love going away. I know some players didn't. I didn't have my kids till later on in life, so you're missing the kids and the missus. So it was like a fun camp. I used to go play football with your mates, play for England, snooker, pool.
Bit of table tennis,
Table tennis,
Food was good as well, do you remember?
Food was good, mate. That was actually a bit of a problem.
Fabio changed that a bit,
yeah, Fabs gnaws that right up. Fabs, but...
Sounds like Butlins you've had.
Yeah, mate, it was great. I mean, I hear some lads say, no, it was like... Didn't like it away from the family. I loved it. I love my family as well, but I like
that.
Get that in.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about what everybody thought was going to happen before the season started. Nobody said Arsenal, the team at the top.
It's remarkable.
Everybody got bogged down with Liverpool and the summer they'd had. Arsenal, though, right now, Ali, and I think it was Thierry Henry who said the other week, the strongest squad in the Champions League, which is lofty praise. We've seen them a few times live already. They look like they've got everything and all bases covered, don't they?
Yeah, well, they have. Look as though they've got two players for every position, just about, don't they? And it's strange. It really is strange because I can't lie to you. I went for Liverpool. I looked at Liverpool's window, and particularly when Isak went, I thought we'll take some beating. But bizarrely, after Liverpool beat Arsenal, I thought to myself, Arsenal look all right, you know. Even after the defeat, the wonderful free kick, I think Arsenal look all right. And I think Liverpool, although they were getting, very good results, I don't think they'd hit anything like, and I still don't think they've hit anything like the form that you'd anticipate them to hit. But Arsenal, they look the real deal.
Oh, and the biggest thing that stands out there when I see that graphic is 3 goals conceded. So they've picked up where they left off in terms of being defensively excellent. That's been aided, I'm sure, by Martin Zubimendi coming into the midfield and providing that screen. But all the things you expect Arsenal to do well, they're doing well, aren't they? Centre-backs, goalkeeper, great without the ball. They've added, it's the top end of the pitch where they've added.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only reason they didn't win it last year. I think they scored 20 goals less than Liverpool. So you see there, you look at goals for and goals conceded. Defensively, they were the best last season. David Raya, I think, had the most clean sheets. The issue was goal scoring, the amount of goals that they scored, and they've fixed that. I know it's only 7 games, but they fixed that. But if you look at Liverpool, look in terms of goals conceded, they conceded 9. You're not going to win the league or the Champions League if you've conceded 9 goals already. So that's what Liverpool needs to fix. I know they've got a lot of great players they're trying to integrate, but actually you win championships with solid defensively, because the players at the top of the pitch, they can go win you games. But if you're conceding 2 and 3, I don't think you can win the biggest trophies nowadays.
You don't tend to win a Premier League either, Joe, unless you've got a top-class goalkeeper. You see quite rightly in that real upper echelon now of goalkeepers, David Raya.
He's in the upper echelon. Of course, he's going to need trophies to back it up. I think that goes without saying. That's not a knock on him. Technically excellent, quick. He's a real leader. You can see on the pitch he's really established himself at Arsenal. It was a tough act to follow. Aaron Ramsdale had built up an affinity with the Arsenal fans. He's a good character. He's English. He looked like he was going to get an opportunity maybe with the England team. So it was a big call to bring him in, but he's been excellent since he's come on. He's been improving all the time. His coach believes in him. And the most important thing for me to see is his defence believing in him. They know the positions he's going to be in. They know the times they can give shots up. They're in a really good flow. And I think as a foundation, Arsenal have built that. And with what they've brought in as well up top, they're dangerous.
The challenge for Arteta, Joe, looks like what he does at the top end of the pitch when they're all fit.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he's got a lot of options. Do you think he's going to work out quickly what it looks like, or is he going to continue to rotate it all around for a little while?
I think because the lads there They're not won anything yet. I think it's very easy to rotate them round. There's no big hitters in there who go, I have to play all the time. Like Martinelli's probably thinking, I need to be out and scoring goals, so it's lifted him. You've got Madueke who's come in, who obviously won the conference at Chelsea, but he's not a big established star. Gyökeres, he'll be happy to be there. So I think he's in a perfect position. Eze as well, come from Palace. All of them are hungry, they're young-ish in terms of their where they are in stature in the game. So I think he just picks them, he moves them around like he did in the Champions League game against Olympiacos. Lads will come in and perform. He's got the young players, Nwaneri as well, who'd be happy to get 15, 20 minutes here and there. They're in a perfect position. And I agree with Joe, I think they're the favourites now.
Do you know what I think, boys? One of the biggest things, we spoke about their defence, right? And how important it was, the goalkeeper's been exceptional, how important it was to keep the two centre-backs fit. It's not just as important now. Of course it's important, you know what I'm saying. My point I'm trying to make is, Mosquera came in the Liverpool game, did not look out of place at all.
Yeah, he's a super player, isn't he?
Big moments, them, isn't they?
He looks as though if one of the centre-backs got injured, they wouldn't. It's not a total disaster, the point I'm trying to make. It would clearly be a blow. Calafiori came in and played there as well.
By the way, we've not seen Nkapia yet either.
He's a great player.
Yeah, there's another one that can go into that mix.
Honestly, that's the best collection of centre-backs in the whole league, easily.
Yes.
Van Dijk's still the best, but I think those two plus the backups are
even better than City's numbers. Aki, Stones, Diaz.
It's close.
Yeah,
it's close, but I'd say I don't think people realise how good the two reserve centre-backs are for Arsenal.
Which you need,
Because Nkapia can step in and play left-back. He's a good centre-back, he's a good ball player as well. Mosquera is an absolute physical beast.
Yeah.
They got him for 10 mil.
he's been brilliant, man.
Is a steal.
That's an Akanji signing, isn't it?
And as well, then you got Timber and Ben White, so you can rotate any of them. You've got Calafiori and Lewis Skelly. I mean, they have, the depth is remarkable.
No excuses. No excuses. So we look at Arsenal and we see 3 goals conceded, Liverpool with 9. So a big strength of this Arsenal team in the early weeks has been clean sheets and not conceding goals. If there is an Achilles heel at the minute for Liverpool, it's they're making defensive mistakes. They're conceding more goals than they did
Fletch, it's
last
amazing.
season.
It's amazing, right? I've gone for Liverpool right at the start of the season because I thought they had an unbelievable window. I thought they were brilliant last year and I thought they'd strengthened. What might, time will tell, what might cost Liverpool is the player they never got. Never mind the players they did get.
So Marc Guehi's the player you're talking about.
That's exactly the
Deadline
player.
day, yeah.
Do you know, can I just jump in there? Konate, for one, he looks like he's been Space Jam so far this year. He's off it because he's a top player.
Hang on, what's Space Jam first and foremost?
Well, he's not
For
at
people who've
it.
not
He's
seen
not
the
at
movie.
it.
Is that his
People
power
have to
sucked
Google
away?
it. People have to Google it. If you know,
For
you
a
know,
generation
Fletch.
over 50 years of age, Joe.
Anyway, he's not at it, right? But how much of it as players, because he would have been obviously reading the news, expecting Marc Guehi to come in. Has his head been turned? Is he like the ego bruised a little bit? And then once you come off that focus a little bit, as a professional and as a player, sometimes you have a bad game and then it can go a little. If he comes back, them stats will change, and I think he will because he's a top player.
I think an interesting aspect is you've just gone through the Arsenal group, and there's already to a certain level a hierarchy.
Yeah.
So it's Lewis Skelly backing up Calafiori, it's Ben White backing up Yuri and Timber, it's Mosquera, Nkapia backing Gabriel and Saliba. I'm looking at the Liverpool mix at the moment, and I'm not necessarily seeing that Arne Slot knows exactly what to do in terms of how to balance it off.
I think last year the noises coming out of Liverpool, the communication that he had with his players and how much he pushed them, that encouraged me to think that he is capable of handling it. Of course, it's difficult at the moment. That whole kind of Isak saga, the money spent on him, and then for everyone to just presume that you could just dump him in and he'll start scoring goals. You've got to be able to bring him in. You've got to keep the fans on side. You've got to keep everyone happy. What Joe's talked about with Konate, it's all. I don't feel sorry for him, but you've got to just understand the ingredients. But like I say, you've just got to take your time. If we can get Florian Wirtz playing right, he's going to have...
But Florian will be all right. I think he's got to figure out who his right back is. You know, he's got Bradley, he's got Finbar. I think that's affecting Konate a little bit as well. I know he's making a lot of mistakes, but his right back's different. I think the structure in midfield is slightly different. And we haven't even gotten to the Ekitike and Isak. I think if he sorts out defensively, they'll be fine.
One of the big question marks is Salah, because, listen, if MD in the country deserves to be cut a bit of slack for what he's given us over the years, it's Mo Salah. But we're not doing our job if we don't talk about the loss of form and the drop in standards that we're seeing from him. You know, because you can make the argument he could never maintain that and keep that going, but there has, I think, been a drop. I mean, it will come back because he's one of the best players that's ever played, I think, in the country, and it will come back. But from Liverpool's point of view, you want it back sooner rather than later.
So Ekitike, Isak, Gakpo, Salah, they're all there. They've all got different strengths. It's an interesting dilemma for Arne Slot because you've got two exceptional number 9s. They both can't play in that position. One might have to play on the left. What do you think he's going to do ultimately with this?
Well, I think the Isak thing, the reason it's been a bit of a slow burner for him, again, same for the Konate thing, but for different reasons. To have that emotional baggage, it was a big story. Is he going to go? Is he not going to go? That seems to be weighing heavily on him. Do you know what I mean? But that's the challenge. At least he's right, you know, leading the line for Newcastle when you know, in a great, you know, everyone's patting you on the back and everything. Now you're at Liverpool, you have to perform and you have to score. And that's the next challenge for him as a player, how he deals with that as a mentality.
Let's have a look at City. Fascinating, does it every year. Finds a different wrinkle, doesn't he, Pep? Let's do something a bit different this year. How genuine are City when you compare them to Liverpool and Arsenal, based on the fact there was a gap between them last season?
I think with Donnarumma, I think they've got a chance. I think that's the amazing thing about Pep. Everyone said I couldn't do it over here, and then you couldn't do it without. You know, he needed midfield players. He'd have a false 9. Couldn't do it with a striker like Haaland. Couldn't. Now they say no, he wants a ball playing goalkeeper. Yep. Now he's got the opposite. He tweaked. You know, he always wanted those fullbacks to come inside, and then he wins the Champions League with 4 centre back. That's the amazing thing about Pep. He always finds new solutions, doesn't he? Yeah. And he's probably gone away from his philosophy, Joe, and thought, right, I just need a keeper to win me a semi-final in the Champions League, like Donnarumma did against Arsenal. And I think with Donnarumma now, he can help you win the Premier League. I think he has an impact that big.
I think he just simplifies it for top play. What you were talking about in terms of Edison coming to the end of his reign at Manchester City. Edison's not someone that should be comparable when it comes to ball playing, because you'll hear people say he's not up to Edison's level. No one is.
Nobody is now.
So they had Edison playing, and they had them being able to build out in any situation. They knew could give him the ball in any situation. For 4 or 5 years, no one could touch City because he always had that threat to put someone in one-on-one as well. Now, even with Edison, people could get at City. Even with the best to ever do it with his feet, people could get at City. They could have a game plan to stop them. They could get on the number 6s. They could make it so difficult. So maybe he's just gone, do you know what? That's unobtainable with anyone. If I can't do it with him, I can't do it with anyone. So why don't I just focus on the 10 in front of the goalkeeper being as good as they possibly can, and the goalie being in the right place at the right time to make massive saves. And we're going to take away the little bit of fogginess as do we play into midfield or do we have people dropping in on the 6-yard box? No. Donnarumma's a good player.
Yeah.
No getting away. Good player, can pass, can make passes, can pick passes. But is he going to take huge risk? Absolutely not.
The only thing they got to figure out, I think, City, is the right back. I think the rest of the starting 11...
I can't believe that they didn't do anything about it.
I know.
That's what confuses me.
The rest of the team, I think, is ready to win the league.
Do they need Rodri to get back to being Rodri sooner rather than later?
Oh, 100%.
If they're going to sustain a challenge
Yeah,
to
I wouldn't sit
Liverpool
for a minute and say they
Arsenal.
can't do it without him, but they've got a far better chance doing it when he's playing at his peak, you know what I mean? Because there's a couple of things I think worth mentioning. I love a goalkeeper. Goalkeeper's different class. The centre forward's ridiculous right now. I mean, we've spoken about him for years. He's actually gone to another level. I can't believe Haaland at this
Are you
moment in time.
surprised it's taken this long for him to get the kind of service at Manchester
No,
City that he got at Dortmund, where they'd used that strength,
Do you know
pace
what I
and
think?
power?
Do you know what? I actually think it's probably suited him and the City team more than anybody that the fact City have lost their fear factor to a certain degree. And teams are maybe having a little bit of a go at City more.
Higher.
So he's got more space to
So
work.
he's got more
And their possession dominance as well.
Correct. I thought his goal against the Arsenal just summed him up. And then his goal was at Brentford.
Brentford, unreal.
Amazing.
Unreal.
Manchester United as well, they did it a lot
Yeah.
in the derby. Put him in
Absolutely.
behind.
He's taken it to a new level. But the thing with Pep, one of the biggest talking points for me the whole season so far, we're looking at that game at the Arsenal. The talking point of the season was the way Pep went in that game. took his centre forward on, he might have been injured, whatever it was, and just went bang, totally defensive.
Counter-attack.
I've never seen it in my life.
Yeah.
Pep do that. But it just shows he's willing to adapt to win games and get points, which I thought was great.
Yeah, fascinating with those three. What about a couple maybe just a notch below them at the minute, Chelsea and Tottenham? Joe, take Chelsea, the rumours swirling around about Maresca already early in the season.
Yeah. I still think the same frailties are there. I think losing Levi Colwill just before the season start was massive, because the last 5-6 games of the season, he looked like he'd, you know, like when centre-halves go on that you look at them, you go, oh, they got to that level, they get it. Like it happens with all the great centre-halves, like Rio from the player who was at West Ham to the one who went to Leeds and then to Man United, John Terry eventually. They all get there, and Levi Colwill for the 6 games, well, he's there now, he's going to be top, and then so that was a big blow. Not replacing him was a massive blow. The goalkeeper, I said, they're still being patient with him. They're still being patient. They obviously believe in him.
Their issues, Caicedo and Fernandes aside, are right down the middle of the pitch, aren't they? Goalkeeper, centre-back, centre-forward.
Which is what Wins just started. I was just literally thinking, obviously, to go back to City. I thought, if Donnarumma's fit, Diaz or Stones is fit, Rodri's flying, Foden and Haaland.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Everyone else will come in and take part.
And it's the opposite of Chelsea.
Yeah.
You're looking at the centre midfield, fine, but then centre-forward, the centre-backs and the goalkeeper.
In the Premier League, you boys will know it. Like I only know it from a goalkeeping point of view. That kind of stomping ground through the middle. You've got to be, if not dominant on the ball, strong.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think for Chelsea, I know they spend a lot of money in their kind of talent acquisition, which is fine. But, you know, you need players that have been there and done it in crucial moments, and I don't think they have any experienced boys. They're all at the same level. Like Joe made a good point about Arsenal. They've done amazing, but there's no real guys that have kind of won in there. And I think you need one or two for when it gets difficult. Like Marquinhos at PSG, that's a young PSG, but they got Marquinhos in there to go, you know, when we're under the cosh, like the great Chelsea teams or City, you had experienced guys, you know, that can company or...
Well, I was just thinking, you know, with what Joe said, they've got no one who can, as Arteta's got this crop of people who are hungry, but no one who can challenge him.
No.
You know, in the big moments.
Which I think is important,
we'll
isn't it,
all
Joe?
know that there's this dressing room bust-up, which sounds like from the outside is something that could be divisive, but not. It's cohesive. When someone stands up and says something,
Boss, you got it wrong.
and the coach goes, he either hears you or he goes, I didn't.
Yeah.
And if any of you think that I'd got it wrong, there's the door.
Yeah.
Those moments are massive in a season.
Yeah. Spurs, Ali, take Spurs for us. The Thomas Frank impact's been big. We talk about the middle of the team.
Paulinho.
The two centre-backs for them, Van der Ven and Romero.
I think 2 centre-backs are vital. We speak of the boys at Arsenal, but arguably more so at Spurs, because I don't think they've got the cover that Arsenal have. Chelsea and Spurs at this moment in time are kind of in the same boat, more than capable of beating City, more than capable of beating Arsenal and Liverpool, but I'm not sure they've got enough to go.
Tottenham probably have a bit more firepower, don't they?
Yeah.
Colin Muani's a fantastic player, by the way. He's barely kicked the ball. He'll come in and
they've got
score
a few
goals.
out as well. You've got to remember that. Madison, Kulusevski,
Solanke.
Solanke, they've got a few out,
Kudus.
you know.
I'm worried from Chelsea's perspective by Spurs for the first time in a long time. And the reason I'm worried more than all of them players you said, I think I said at the start, I think the biggest signing of the season was Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
I think he'll go there and he's absolutely perfect for that club at the right time. I think he's been brilliant and I think they'll get better and better.
Manchester United, your old club, Owen. The debate rages. It's not really a great deal different, is it? Despite the changes and the money that was spent in the summer, is it a whole lot different to last season?
No, doesn't feel like it. And they're probably, they're not playing well either. I think if you're playing well and not getting results, okay, that's not great either, but at least you can see it. I think for like Ruben, he's so open and honest, and he's such a great communicator. But in the end, we all know we've been in this game a long time. It's all about results. You got to get results.
You can't have Bruno Fernandes in there, can you?
No.
In a central two, out of possession. It's not good for him, and it's not good for them. Why will he not change that?
Well, I think there's a few things that he won't change, really. I mean, I find it baffling.
The floor is yours.
Well, I do find it baffling that when any coach goes to a club, I get you've got a playing style that you want to implement, right? Whether it's 3-4-3 or 4-4-2, doesn't matter what it is. But if you've not got the players to do that when you move to the club, I'm of the opinion you've got to adapt to the players.
100%.
And find a system that suits the players. And by all means, every window, bring in players that you can eventually, that will complement your system and you play your system. But if I was going to be critical, I just think you've got to play a system that suits the players first and foremost.
You know what's interesting, Ali? Bruno's by far their best player by a country mile.
Yeah.
And then they go inside 2 10s to play his position. So he has to play as a defensive midfield player almost. And it's like, I appreciate you needed more goals because they thought, okay, we get more goals, that gets us higher up the table than, say, a world-class goalkeeper. But actually, you're probably the best 10 in the division, you could argue, with Cole Palmer and Bruno. And you drop him because they want somebody to play through midfield, and then you got Cunha and Buemo. But it's like, why didn't you just sign a central midfield player to play that and let Bruno do his thing with Cunha?
Yeah.
Do you know? And then a goalkeeper, because I think it would have fixed a lot of issues.
Let's just have a look at a couple more teams before we finish. Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. I mean, Bournemouth sell their best players every year. Don't miss a beat.
Incredible Bournemouth.
Really what about Semenyo's start to the season? He's looking like an absolute superstar.
Out of this
Is he the best player in the division right now?
He might be. Owen. He's certainly one of the easiest to watch, isn't he? He's brilliant to watch.
He'd be one of the hardest to play against.
Yeah.
Size, strength, can go both ways.
I mean,
he
even
reminds me a bit
game.
of Eze. He's smooth. He's such a smooth player.
Their opening game, you could argue they're unlucky to not get in. Was it the first game of the season at Anfield?
Yeah.
They played heck of a well.
That
and then
goal
they
he
go to
scored at
Spurs and win.
Anfield.
They go to Spurs and win. That's them.
You'd say the same about Crystal Palace, wouldn't you?
You've got to say, Crystal Palace were really unlucky to lose at Everton. If they hang on and win that game, they're second in the league.
Yes.
Second in the league.
But one thing that I noticed, Coisty, with that is because I watched that game and they had that Thursday night running out of gas.
Yeah.
They needed to put them away in the 70 minutes, and as soon as they missed those chances,
That's a good point, Joe.
Very good.
and that's what their squad is. They were so used to banging out the same 11, of which they kept doing, and that same 11 were brilliant. They battered Everton, and Everton didn't know where to look. They just kept their guard up, and they fought. And eventually there was a tell sign. I think the striker came off, and Mateta missed a chance, came off. And then Everton just kind of come away from the guard and thought, these lot are done. They're cooked. And they ended up losing the game.
Good point.
Tell you what I would say before we finish, it's a really strong Premier League because the three teams that have come up all look like they can stay up. And we've not said that for a while. So it's not as if you've got three gimmies at the bottom of the league where you think, oh, we've got a get-right game coming up this week. Nobody wants to play Leeds, Sunderland or Burnley at the moment because they're very competitive. So it's made it from top to bottom, hasn't it? Really, really deep.
Shout out Sunderland. They've been amazing, haven't they? Good goalkeeper. Shine Xhaka, a bit of experience as well.
Yeah.
Signed some good flair players. Because I think the teams that came up, they put on a clinic on how to get relegated again.
Exactly.
Like just playing mad football, 60% possession and just get relegated. Southampton did the same.
Yeah.
I think the boys have learned from these guys failing, thinking, we're going to make it harder to beat.
They've all probably looked at that, haven't they? That's definitely
Looked at the DVD.
a clinic in how to get relegated.
The bad news is we're out of time. The good news is that means we've got no time to talk about Nottingham Forest, so that's good for me. Thanks to Owen, to Joe, to Ali, and to the other Joe. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget, you can watch the Premier League title race and relegation battle unfold on TNT Sports at Discovery+.